Hello crafty friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do a mini gingerbread fofucha girl. I'm going to use 2 polystyrene foam balls and my 3 circle template. One ball is 1.5 inch and the other ball is 1 inch. In this step I cut a sheet of brown 2mm foam sheet. And I'm going to use my iron setting and I put a piece of fabric over and you're going to let it warm. Once it starts to curl, it's a good indication that the foam sheet is ready. I'm using my 3 circle template in order to help me stretch down that foam sheet. Foam sheet has its shape now, so I'm going to cut it around and I'll repeat this process one more time. The next step will be to glue the foam sheet onto the polystyrene foam ball. I'm using a little bit of hot glue. You don't need too much. Now remember, you need to repeat the same process on the 1.5 inch polystyrene foam ball and the 1 inch polystyrene foam ball. Now that the head and the body is all put together, I'm going to use a dry sponge technique. I dabbed a little bit of white glue and I'm going to just dab it all over the head and the body of the doll. Now I want to cover that seam with a little strip of pink foam sheet. This is going to be like her headband. So you would just glue it with some hot glue, just a little bit. You do not need too much. For the bow, I did use my die cut, but you can create your own bow with ribbon or just design it by hand. Cut it out and you will glue it onto her headband. For a little extra detail, I am adding ribbon onto her face. And for her nose, I'm using a hole puncher to cut out her nose. After I glue down her nose, that will be my guide, so I can use the eye template tool and just trace her eyes around. I am using a Sharpie pen, but later on I will paint the eyes in with black and a paintbrush. To create the mouth, I'm using a circle template tool. Find the circle templates at your local Michael's or Joann stores. They're really easy to find and they create the perfect little mouths. I love to use chalk pastels, so I'm going to rub it onto her cheeks, her face, her mouth, her nose, just anywhere you think that it'll be cute for her to have that pink, precious look. Dots on the eyes and on the cheeks. Here I cut a circle with my die cut machine. This will be the actual skirt of the doll, so you would need to create it a little bit wider than the body itself and cut a little hole in the center, and you will warm it up with your iron, let it curl, and you're going to place it through her little body. I did not use a template for her arms. I just used a toothpick and I freehand a little design. I'm going to cut it out and measure it against her body. I do want her arms to be longer than her torso. So if it's a good size, then you could use that as your second template for your other arm. For the top, I cut a little square and I'm just going to freehand with a pair of scissors. I'm going to place it against the little torso and see if it's a good fit. Once I like the size, I'm going to warm it up just so it could curl up a bit and glue it onto her body. Now don't forget, this is 2mm craft foam sheets. I am going to place it on the iron. Just a little bit of heat, not too much. Your iron is in a cotton setting. I just want to give it a little bit of a curve. Now for the straps on the back of her shirt, I'm just going to cut a little strip, warm it up as well, and then cut it and glue it onto her torso. Now that all the pieces are put together, you can start assembling it and just glue it onto her body. I want the arms to also have some type of dimension, so I will iron those as well. Now you will glue the arms onto the body. So put glue now on a toothpick and insert it into the head. You will now make sure that the whole doll will be glued together. And for an extra touch, I'm going to add ribbon onto her hands. I will also glue ribbon on her waist. To create her boots, you need to have 1/2-inch polystyrene foam ball. You will cut it in half with a craft cutter, and then you will cut each side at an angle, just as you see on the screen. The cuts should look like their little feet, wider in the front and smaller in the back. For the legs, I'm going to cut two rectangle strips, and I want them to be the same exact size. I'm going to warm them up and then I'm going to curl them onto a toothpick. You will glue them onto your toothpick as well. And to create the boots, you will also need 2 rectangle strips. Warm those up and you will curl it around the actual foot to make the boot shape. Just wrap it around, pinch the bottom, and you should have a boot. You can cut any excess off and start to glue it onto the foot and the leg, and just glue and cut as needed. Once your boots are done, just add some hot glue onto the toothpick and insert into their torso. For the base, I'm going to use a wooden circle that I have on hand. I'm going to cut a circle of a foam sheet and I'm going to glue it onto the base. And then I will glue my doll on top of that. Make sure she's fully secured and let her dry, so hold her in place for a few minutes. And this gingerbread girl is done. She's so tiny and cute. You could actually create a snow girl with the same exact procedure. So tell me what you think below, comment, and give this video a like. You could also follow me on Facebook and Instagram and visit my Etsy shop. Thanks for spending your time with me, and until next time, God bless.